I was 20 years old when I went to Madrid and started living as an au pair in a Spanish family. I was busy during the weekdays, but for those 2 free days on weekends, I would spend 8 hours outside. I would take a morning bus and return home at 7 or 8 p.m. The previous day, I would make a list of the places I wanted to visit, pick some lunch, charge my camera, and be excited about the next day. I have never traveled so slowly before. I went to a couple of places previously, but I only had a week or even less time for seeing the area. This time, I had 3 months. I could take my time, and I did. I went to the same places a couple of times to truly get the sense, ate breakfast at the same cafe to feel like a local, took millions of pictures, used paper maps to get around, but secretly stole Wi-Fi from McDonald's to really know where I was going. I felt so alive and worryless, like I was charging my soul every weekend by just being there and wandering in the streets. Au pair duties usually include caring for the kids and talking English with them. The purpose of having an au pair at home is to introduce your kids to diversity and have some extra help at home. Nobody expects an au pair to be a housekeeper, a nanny, and a cook at the same time, except for my host mom, Sylvia. She somehow saw me as a little Cinderella who was supposed to do anything for her. Wash her clothes, wash her husband's clothes, clean the house, cook the healthiest food possible and make the kids to eat them, come up with these interesting and creative ways to teach English and homeschool them. She did not want me to eat her organic food, so she had a separate section in the fridge for my low-budget crappy food. Anyway, she was an absolute evil stepmother. They went away for a few days during the New Year holiday and left me alone in the house. I did not notice that few oranges got rotten in the baskets, and I did not throw the garbage bag away that she left in the garage, on purpose apparently. When they got back home, she immediately started yelling at me. She said I was not doing anything good for the family except costing her money and burning electricity. So she wanted me to leave. I was not able to defend myself because I didn't have enough strength to speak up. She had all the power to speak and to decide. That unspoken truth still bugs me sometimes. She did it all in front of the kids that loved me, the kids that I adored. They were all in shock and I was in an absolute shock. I had no idea what I did wrong, but yet somehow I felt responsible. They kicked a 20-year-old girl out of their house a day before New Year's Eve, and still I felt responsible. What kind of evil being does that to a person who has nobody in the city? They knew I did not have enough money to stay in a hotel, so they found the cheapest place for me to stay. The next morning, the husband dropped me off at this 1-star hostel, very dirty, with no security. I could tell he did not want to do this. He felt bad for me, and he felt bad for himself too, because she had her power over him as well. He could not defend me like I could not defend myself, and that made us both weak and sad. I've never been so vulnerable as I was when I checked in that hostel. I could not believe I was gonna spend New Year's Eve all alone in this hostel next to 7 empty beds, because who the hell would want to celebrate anything in this sad, sad place? After crying for the whole morning, I went out to find some food in the afternoon and immediately met a few exchange students in the supermarket. They asked me what my plans were for the night. I told them what happened and they invited me to the party. First I hesitated. I didn't want to be a burden to anybody, but they insisted and I joined a big group of international students for the night. We cooked together, drank, talked, danced, sang and laughed. I was so confused when everybody started looking for a kissing partner closer to midnight. I didn't know that was a tradition. I had one of the best New Year's experiences ever. I remember every single one of them like they were my saviors, my saints. I loved them. I loved life's surprises. I loved Madrid. I felt like the city played a little miracle trick on me. I went back to Madrid after 7 years. This time, it was not so special. I have seen so many great cities since I was 20. I went to New York, Berlin, Paris, Rome, all these wonderful places that somehow shadowed the greatness of Madrid. Maybe I should have not gotten back at all to just keep the memory of the city as it was in my head. Those buildings are not as amazing as they were in 2015. The museums don't have the best collection I've seen, and I have visited more impressive cathedrals and more remarkable places in general, but Madrid will always have a special place in my heart. I found a tiny bit of myself in this city when I was stepping into my 20s. I found my place between these beautiful streets and noisy people. I felt a sense of belonging. And from then on, I knew I was capable of finding my way anywhere in the world. Madrid and its people never let you be lonely if you don't want to. That's for sure. And I'll forever be grateful for that.